Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Thursday, March 28th. Yesterday, we talked about Jaguars' top 30 visit with DeAndre Prince, cornerback out of Ole Miss. You can go check that out. Today, we're talking about another top 30 visit. Going to break down this player, Marshawn Kneeland, edge defender out of Western Michigan. This top 30 visit, the scoop is once again via Ryan Fowler of the Draft Network. They met a while back. I'm not sure exactly when they were going to meet with Marshawn Kneeland, but they're obviously showing interest. So we're going to roll through the tape, check the testing numbers, look at the production here today on the show. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you've been enjoying the draft content, the content in general, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. So talking about Marshawn Kneeland here, I think when you look at the tape, several things stand out for him. He's extremely heavy-handed and powerful throughout his frame. There is shock when he lands his hands. He can drive you off the line of scrimmage with both his powerful hands, his arms, and the lower leg drive that he has. And when he arrives at the ball, whether that's in the backfield or in space, there is violence. Like the ball carrier, the quarterback, whoever it may be, you feel him when he gets there. You also see natural leverage and length. He gets lower than his opponent and he makes first contact, again, thanks to that length and natural leverage, which is huge in the NFL. Huge when you're projecting guys forward. There are a variety of hand moves that you see from him on tape: cross chop to rip, bull rush, long arm. And again, because he is a little lower to the ground than a lot of these guys at about 6'3", most tackles are a good bit taller than that he's going against, and he has longer arms than those guys. It just gives him the advantage. And when he gets the quarterback, he pops the ball out quite a bit. You see him with the ability to swipe at the football and force turnovers. So I think you love to see that out of Marshawn Kneeland as well. I think the most surprising thing about his profile, because he is a big defensive end, right? Even though he's not tall, he's in the 265 to 275 range. His quickness and agility is probably the most surprising thing about his tape for his size. It really is shocking. His ability to close on quarterbacks and ball carriers. They're trying to run around, avoid him. It's like a predator tracking prey out there. Like, they will wiggle, they'll try to dart this way, try to dart that way. It doesn't really matter because he can change directions. He has great quickness and ankle flexion. He can bend around the edge. He can chase you down, whether you're a quarterback trying to drop back in the pocket, evade him in the pocket, a runner trying to get downfield. He's all over the place, and I love to see that, especially at his size. He's an ass kicker against the run, super stout. You know, that natural leverage, that strength throughout his frame and length helps him against the run a lot. He can hold up at the point of attack. He can also knife inside and generate tackles for loss and tackles right at the line of scrimmage. He has the ability to line up across the defensive front. I think his home would be on the edge, but he can kick inside and rush the passer, head up against a guard or a center, standing up as well. So some versatility with where you can align him. The Jaguars always talk about really liking versatility with their players. Looking at the testing and measurables from the combine, very impressive. 6'3", again, so lower to the ground than most tackles. He was 267 at the combine. I think that he probably plays a little bit heavier than that. So you're talking about like a 270-pound guy at 6'3". That's a lot of mass, a lot of density on his frame. 34.5-inch arms, very long for no matter how tall you are, but especially at 6'3". Like, that proportional length is tremendous. 4.75 40-yard dash, again, very good at his size, about 270 pounds. 35.5-inch vert, same thing, very impressive. 9'11 broad, but again, the quickness and agility. 7.02 3-cone, 4.18 short shuttle. At his size, those numbers are pretty ridiculous. And then 21 bench press reps with his length, right? Longer armed guys, it's more difficult to put up a ton of bench press reps. It's impressive. So all of his testing numbers kind of confirm what you see on tape. A unique athlete, a big physical guy with great length, natural leverage, cat-like quick reflexes, and power. So I love this profile. The box score, looking at what he did in college, 4.5 sacks in 2023 at Western Michigan, 7.5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles. So those numbers aren't like the most impressive thing in the world, but some of the underlying numbers and obviously the tape, as I just mentioned, is very impressive. One thing that's crazy about him, prior to 2023, he and Braden Fisk were playing on the same defensive line. Fisk, he went to Florida State for the 2023 season, had a tremendous year. Marshawn Kneeland, he elected to stick around at Western Michigan. He had a very good year as well. When you look at the 4.5 sacks, he was really involved in 6 sacks, either registering a half or a full sack, 6 times during the season. So I think that number helps you kind of see his impact a little bit more. 37 pressures on 228 pass rush snaps. That's really impressive. And then you look at in true pass rush sets, he had the 8th highest win rate in the country among edge players. 34.1% pass rush win rate in true pass rush sets, which is just ridiculous. He's 22 years old. He will turn 23 in July. So he's average age for a prospect. He's not super young or super old. He'll be 23 for all of his rookie year. Going into his second contract, he'd be like 26 years old. So age is not a big negative factor here. And when you look at what he's done throughout his career, it's not like he was a breakout in 2023 that did not have production prior. He's a guy that has been playing at a high level for several years in college. So certainly not an issue there. I have an early second round grade on him. I think that this is the type of player that has starting caliber traits, has starting caliber tape, very athletic, very physical, plays the game with violence. I love his skill set. I love what you see on tape. I love the way he plays the game. If the Jaguars wanted to target him at 48 to bolster their pass rush, I would be good with that. 100% I would be good with targeting him in the second round. I have zero issue with the idea of drafting an edge in the second round or with the idea of drafting Marshon Kneeland specifically. But when you look at what the Jaguars have at edge, they have Josh Allen, they have Trayvon Walker. You're assuming Josh Allen's back on a long-term deal because he's certainly not going to be playing on the franchise tag. They're working towards getting that done, according to the Jags. But you have your 2 starters. You also signed Trevis Gibson, who I think can be a rotational piece. If you plug in Marshawn Kneeland as your edge 3 in 2024, and you just have him as a really good rotational piece for the next few years behind those 2 guys, I think you could be cooking on that defensive line. You talk about those as your top 3 guys and then Trevis Gibson as your edge 4. And then you talk about on the interior with Eric Armstead, a fully healthy Devon Hamilton, Roy Robertson Harris rotating in. Maybe you add another defensive lineman at some point that can play on the interior. I really like the idea of pairing Marshawn Kneeland up with Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker and Trevis Gibson and creating kind of a pass rush that more resembles what you had in 2022, where you had an Arden Key coming off the bench and rotating in and playing well, where you had a DeJuan Smoot playing very well before his injury. So I just think the Jaguars, if they want to be the type of defense that wins games in the playoffs, getting more, even more than they already have up front. And I love the Eric Armstead addition. I love the idea of a fully healthy Devon Hamilton, and that's what you're hoping you're getting going into 2024. But I still think you just need at least one more true edge rusher to come in. And this is a guy that could win as a pass rusher for you right away. And he can sub in and certainly play in base against the run for you when Josh Allen or Trayvon Walker need a breather. So a player that I value very highly, a player I think the Jaguars should value highly. Again, they scheduled a top 30 visit with him, so it's someone they're interested in. When is the best time for them to take edge? I wouldn't have a problem at any point in the draft. I don't think you need to go swinging early on 2 different edge players, but if you get an edge player in the top 3 or 4 rounds, I think they have a good chance, if you pick the right guy, and I think Marshawn Kneeland would be the right guy, to come in and really make an impact as a rotational edge rusher in year 1. So yeah, I'm good with this. Would love to know what y'all think about Marshawn Kneeland. Hit me up in the comment section below. You can also follow me on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. If you enjoy the content here, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. Y'all have a good one.